be with the puppies and crap in the big dog's yard.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Grant County, West Virginia Matrix Show. I'm your host, Brian Shreve, and on today's show I will be discussing my platform for running for Grant County Commissioner, and then after that I have some rants I need to get out of my system. So starting off with my platform, I was born and raised here in Grant County, been here my whole life, went to school here. I started working when I was 17 years old at the Petersburg Food Land bagging groceries. I done that for 5 months. Then I went to Rocco Farm Foods in Edinburgh, Virginia. Done that for 6 months. And then went to Wampler Foods in Moorfield, which is now Pilgrims. I worked there for 6 years. Then after that, I went to American Woodmark. I've been there ever since. I started there in 2002. I've been there a little over 15 years. So that's what I'm currently doing now, is working at American Woodmark. I want everyone to know that I am not a politician. Nor do I want to be a politician, but somebody's got to step up to the plate and try to make some changes in this county. And I feel that I can do that. I feel I can bring something different to the table than the previous county commissioners and the current county commissioners. I'm not a groomed candidate. I do not hang out with other politicians. I do not hang out with Joe Manchin or Gerald Seitz like my opponent. That's all I'm going to say about that. I do not belong to any branch of the mystery schools, like the Masons, Shriners, anything like that. I do not belong to anything like that. No secret societies. I can stand on my own 2 feet and pave my own way and dig my own ditch through life. I don't need to be in a buddy system. My parents taught me to stand on my own 2 feet and be self-reliant. I don't feel the need to screw other people over to get ahead in life. And that's all I'll say about that subject, because some of them people, they tend to get upset. They can't handle the truth. So moving on. Permits. Less permits, more freedom. I'm not totally against permits, but some of the permits I think are ridiculous, and they have gone too far, and it's turned into a money-making racket. People fought and died for us to be free and be able to do things on our own property. We should not have to apply for permits for every little thing we do on our own property. That's gotten out of hand. It's ridiculous. That's how I feel about permits. The internet. That's something that should have been dealt with 10 years ago. And I don't know what the clowns over at town have been doing the past 10 years, but they sure as heck haven't done anything to help us with the internet problem. So if I'm elected, I will do everything in my power to get us faster internet, more reliable, faster internet. I had Frontier for years. It got so bad it took 20 minutes for me to pay a bill online. And it only worked certain hours of the day. So I had to switch to HughesNet. It's not perfect, but it's better than Frontier, let me tell you. I can get on there now and I can pay a bill in less than a couple minutes. Download, watch YouTube videos. I can't watch movies, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's still better than Frontier. A little bit pricey, but what do you do? I mean, we're in a bad situation here. They got us pinned down. You got to take what you can get. but I think we could do a lot better, a way lot better. Moving on to my next subject, fluoride being put in our drinking water. That is a byproduct from aluminum and fertilizer. It causes dental fluorosis. It causes IQ to go down. It accumulates in your system. They try telling us, well, it's such a small dose. But what they don't tell you, it is cumulative. It accumulates in your body. Adolf Hitler used it on the Jews to dumb them down so they wouldn't resist. It's a key ingredient in Prozac. And they do put it in our water in Grant County. I have a report right here. The only place in Grant County that they don't do it in is the Mountaintop Public Service District. But every place else gets fluoridated. And you probably read that. Found that on the internet. I can't remember the website, but all you gotta do is type in fluoridated water in Grant County, West Virginia. It'll pop up some different sites. You can search around a little bit. It does get put in our drinking water. And I think it's time to stop. If I get elected, I'll do everything in my power to get that stopped. We have enough poisons in our drinking water. They don't need to be adding poisons to our drinking water. Moving on. Meetings in the evenings. County commissioners, for some reason, don't want to have meetings in the evenings for the day shift working class. And according to the Grant County, West Virginia Observer, this is their excuse for not having the meetings in the evenings. Should have highlighted this. Here we go. Commissioner Swick stated that a lot of the taxpayers in Grant County work in the evenings. Okay, yeah, there are some people that work in the evenings. So, have the 9 o'clock meeting for them and change the 3:30 meeting to later on for the day shift. Simple fix. But I'm willing to bet that there's more day shift workers than they are second shift workers. It just cracks me up that Commissioner Swick would say something like, that's the poorest excuse I ever heard. I mean, I could wipe my rear end and come up with a better excuse than that. That's terrible. And then Commissioner Cole stated that there are issues that arise during meetings that require the assistance of courthouse employees. Okay, I can understand that. But they're getting paid almost 40 grand a year, each one of them. They ought to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and handle the situation. If nothing else, they can write down whatever the issue is and say, hey, I'll get back with you at a later date. I got to wait until I can talk to so-and-so that's not here right now. Simple fix. No big deal. My guess is they just don't want to fool with it in the evenings. They probably got other things they'd rather be doing. They don't stop. They don't. I guess they don't realize, or they don't care to realize. They work for us. They're there for us. They're part of the chain of command. It's obvious I can't go to the White House and talk to the president. I can't go to the governor's office and talk to the governor. I have to go through chain of command. So if I have an issue, I should be able to go to the county commissioners and express my concerns, issues, complaints, whatever it is. They shut us out. Anybody works day shift. It's uncalled for. It's disrespectful. So if I get elected, that's going to change. That's just downright rude. But I'm the bad guy for calling them a-holes. I still think they're a-holes. But according to some, I'm the bad guy. Whatever. Moving on. Dog tax. This tickles me. Dog tax. I just paid my dog tax. I mailed in $3 to pay for my dog tax. I love my dog. So I paid $3 for him. No big deal. But this is what I get back. I get this envelope, padded envelope, and I look here at the postage. It says $1. So I give them $3. They spend $1 of it to mail this to me. This envelope, I'm assuming 25 cents, maybe 50 cents. They probably get it in bulk, I don't know, but I'm sure it costs something. So you got the $1 for the postage, the money for the envelope. So I open it up. I get the little thing that's supposed to go on the dog, which ain't going to happen. My dog's not going to go around looking like Mr. T. That's my dog. I pay taxes on it. I say what goes on that dog. It ain't going to be that tag. Anyhow, that tag probably costs 25 to 50 cents. So you got the $1 for the postage, 25 to 50 cents for the envelope, 25 to 50 cents for the tag, little metal tag. It come with the receipt. So you got to figure in, there's some time and labor that went into this. You know, somebody had to put that sticker on there and all that, and somebody had to take the time to fill this receipt out. So my question is, out of that $3, how much did they actually get? That is a waste of money. They probably saved money by just doing away with the dog tax. After you figure everything in, is it really worth it? That's something that needs looked into. I mean, if they're spending the dog tax money that way, how are they spending the rest of the tax dollars? You know, and it was brought to my attention in a previous video when somebody was taking up for the commissioners that there's a surplus of money because of those commissioners. What? If they wouldn't waste this money like on the dog tax, they'd probably even have a bigger surplus of money. So how much are we losing? That's something I think needs to be looked into. Ways of saving money. That dog tax, that's a waste of money if they're going to be spending over half of it to send out a dog tag and an envelope and the postage and all that. That's just bad business. It don't make sense. Don't like it. Moving on to the next subject, the hospital. Here's my suggestion on the hospital. Not all the time, but a majority of the time when government runs a business, it usually don't pan out very well. Just look at the post office, the postal service. I mean, they're losing money. The healthcare system, that's a train wreck. So we have the hospital, and the county commissioners and all that have their nose in it. That's just not a good thing. So my suggestion is, sell the hospital to WVU. That'd get us out of the hospital levy, save us some money, the taxpayers. Let WVU take it over and turn it around and fix it and take care of all the problems. Let that be their baby. And then the county collect tax off the hospital. It's a win-win situation. Simple fix. I mean, it's obvious that times have changed. Things ain't as simple as what they used to be. It'd be better to have somebody like WVU and their expertise take it over. I very seriously doubt the county commissioners know anything about health care and how to run a hospital. I don't. I don't think too many people around here do. Moving on. The ambulance. That's one of them things that we're not going to come out ahead on that. More money's going to go into it than we get out of it. I think it's a good idea what the county commissioners come up with, trying to run it themselves rather than contract it out, because the contractor's going to want to make money off of it, a profit. And if they do that, it's going to cost a lot of money. I mean, I'm no fan of government running business, as I stated with the hospital, but in this situation, I don't know what else to do unless they sell the hospital and let WVU take over the ambulance. That might be an option. That as long as the county's running it, it's going to cost us money. And there's not going to be any money made off of it. And I would say eventually there'll probably be an ambulance fee. I'm not happy about that, but in a lot of places they have that. In a lot of places it's successful, except for maybe Hardy County. That's a whole nother story. I work with people in Hardy County and they tell me stories about that. But that's one of them things, you're screwed either way you go as far as the ambulance goes. So I don't have too much of an answer for that. Fire department, or I should say fire departments. We've got several. Do an excellent job. Excellent job. I'd like to help them get more equipment and get more training and make sure they're taken care of. They do a lot of volunteering. They don't get paid. To my knowledge, they don't. They're volunteers. They stand out in the middle of the road with a plastic bucket trying to collect money. If I get elected as commissioner, I want to stand with them and help them collect money. I feel the politicians should be out there helping the fire department collect money. I think that would send a positive message to the community and be an all-around good thing. Emergency preparedness. Whether you believe it's the end of the world, climate change, global warming, Planet X coming towards us, also known as Nibiru and Wormwood, whatever you believe it is, things are changing around here in this world. We've got more storms, floods, quakes, volcanoes erupting. Things is getting chaotic. And it's not if something happens, it's when. I think we have a good team in Grant County with the fire department, the police department, and the Office of Emergency Management. I think they all do a good job. But I'd like to take it a step further. I'd like to get the citizens more involved and more informed on what's going on. There's the county website. I think chain of command needs to be put on there in case of an emergency. Contingency plans, what to do if this happens. Stuff like that. Just get people more aware of what's going on. I think it'd be a good idea for citizens to get with their neighbors and have groups, stuff like that. Because it would help out a lot if everybody was on the same page when something happens, instead of everybody running around like a chicken with their head cut off. And sooner or later it's going to happen. We don't know one day or the next. We could have a flood. The dike might not hold. And we need to be able to know where to go, what to do, chain of command, stuff like that. Basic stuff. I mean, I'm not telling everybody to go out and build a bomb shelter, although that probably would be a good idea this day and age. An officer in the schools. I'm all for putting an officer in the schools. I support that. As long as the officer is friendly and is not there to intimidate the children. I don't see where that would be a problem, but some officers get carried away. It's got to be the right officer for the schools. I will not support metal detectors. Number one, that's a liberty issue. You can't trade liberty for security. You will end up with neither one. Secondly, that's just asking for a lawsuit. If somebody innocent walks through that metal detector and it goes off and they get pulled to the side and frisked and all that, they're going to claim that they're embarrassed or they got touched inappropriately or something. It's going to end up in a lawsuit. So I'm not for metal detectors. The officer in the schools, I can live with that. That's no big deal. Education, I support homeschooling. I think homeschooling is a better way to go in some situations for some families, if they're able to do that. So I'm all for homeschooling. I am against Common Core. I don't like that. I think that restricts the smarter children. Moving on, water lines, extending water lines. I have hauled water since 1994. I know what it's like to not have public water. Believe me. Been there, done that. I don't have a t-shirt to prove it, but I know what it is to haul water. Done it since 1994. So anybody out there needs water, I know how you feel. It's not fun. I think the biggest issue is getting the funding for the water lines. I think there's places that have been approved, but the funding's just not there. So if I get elected, I will do everything in my power to get the funding for the water lines. Jobs. One of the things with jobs is location. Location plays a big key in getting good jobs in. Grant County is not the most suitable place for a lot of jobs. Corridor H didn't come in through close to Petersburg. It's out of town a little ways, so that hurts us. But it doesn't mean that we can't get something done. It just kind of limits us. But there's no guarantee on anything when it comes to jobs, because there's different things they look at, and one of the things is workforce. We don't have the biggest workforce in Grant County. I've done factory work for over 20 years, and I've seen how people come and go. I've seen how Pilgrims have struggled to keep help. I currently see how Woodmark struggles to keep help and find good help. So that plays a big role in it. So if a job was to come into Grant County and say employ 200, 300 people, that's going to take away from Pilgrims and Woodmark and several other places. It's going to make a big impact. So they kind of look at that. These people, they sit behind closed doors and decide that stuff. It's everything. I've said it before. Everything's staged. Everything's rigged. Everything is done behind closed doors often. These big wigs, that's what they do. They're out there playing golf. And that's the things they discuss. Workforce and stuff like that. I think that's one of the things that has kept jobs out of Grant County, and we're not being told about it. So you kind of got to think outside the box a little bit. I mean, we have some jobs in Grant County. We got the power plant, pays pretty good, and the windmills pays pretty good. But the problem with those jobs is they're buddy system jobs. You don't know somebody, related to somebody, or belong to one of the lodges, you just well forget it. I did read in the paper that there might be something coming in out on the mountain at that job site, industrial park I should say. But that's all the details I have on that. But then again, that's probably going to be one of them buddy system jobs. That's the sad thing about Grant County. Of course, it's not just Grant County. It's spread all over, but Grant County's notorious for it. They probably should get the biggest trophy for it anyway. I'd like to bring back the role of government in Grant County. Give the power back to the people. Government works for the people. I believe in small government. If somebody has an issue, they should be able to go to whoever they elected and bring up the issue. And if nothing else, just go in and learn how local government works so that they can run for office. The role of government in Grant County, it's shot. It's run more like a dictatorship, a buddy system. This election is proving that buddy system. You just take a look at the Grant County Republican Executive Committee. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to upset a bunch of Republicans, but can't we all just get along? Moving on. Legalizing marijuana. Me personally, I'm all for legalizing it. It seems like everybody and their dog has it. I can pick up my phone, I can have it in no time if I wanted it, but I don't smoke it because of my job. But I'm all for legalizing it. I think the whole war on drugs is a scam. It's a money-making racket. It was never, the war on drugs started in, I think, 1971 with Richard Nixon. That's a war that was never meant to be won. What it was meant to keep the price of the drugs up. So they had to start the war on drugs to get these lower guys selling drugs, get them out of the way because they was flooding the market. Get them out of the way, that drives the price up. And then the government offers all this funding to the police departments for equipment and personnel, so we're paying for it on both ends, really. The CIA's been bringing drugs in for years. That was going on in Vietnam. Common knowledge. They recently made a movie about it called American Made. It's about Barry Seal. I've known about it for years. There was a book come out years ago called Barry and the Boys. It explained all that, how it worked. The CIA brings the drugs in. They get distributed and sold. Wrecks families and everything else. People cry to the police department. The police department needs money, so they get funding from the federal government. Tax dollars end up paying for it. They go out and bust all these little guys. How often do you hear of a big kingpin getting busted? Think about it. It's always some low-level drug dealer that got caught speeding or something like that. They bust that guy. And just in Grant County is a perfect example. How many times has the big shots that sell drugs gotten by with it? We all know about it. It's common knowledge in Grant County. There's no point in hiding it. That's how the war on drugs works. So I'm all for legalizing pot. As far as the other hardcore stuff, I don't have an answer for that. Other than crack down on the federal government, get them to stop doing what they're doing with the CIA, get that stopped. You gotta go to the root of the problem, or we'll never get it fixed. So that's about the only thing you can do. So that's how I feel about marijuana. Last but not least, on my platform, I took a stand against the Petersburg buzz. I'll take a stand for the people of Grant County. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm not saying I'm the best person for the job. But right now, you got me, God is me, and the other guy running. You have to take a pick. One or the other. Who's going to get the job done? Who's going to take a stand for you? And who's going to lay down and play ball with them people? Now, I'm not going to play ball with them if they're not going to do things the right way. I'm not going to give in. The other guy might. I don't know. I don't know him that well. I hope if he gets it, he does take a stand. But he seems to be friends with a lot of them over in Petersburg, in Grant County. So I don't know how that'll go over. I'm not friends with any of them. I keep to myself. Alright, that's enough of my platform. Now to move on to my rants. My first rant. Passing the torch. There's elected officials in Grant County that just don't understand the importance of passing the torch. Get in there, serve a term or two, get out. Pass the torch. Don't stay in there a whole lifetime. That's one of the things killing Grant County. When you got people in office that are dying in office, just like with the county clerk just passed away. Well, look at that stink that stirred up. He was, I think, 76 years old. Now, I'm not talking bad about him. He done a good job. He was in there a number of years. He should have retired 10 years ago, though. That's just my opinion. But he passed away. Now we got this stink going on over town with the Republican Executive Committee. 3 of them trying to get that job. The guy that passed away, his son's running as an independent. Then we got Barb Judy running as Republican. And then Bud Seymour Fisher. He's the one that got appointed after Harold Heiser passed away. 2 days before he got put in there, he changed his political party. Somebody told me he was Democrat before that. He changed to Republican, got appointed in there. I guess he caught wind he wasn't going to get the support of the Republican Party, so he changed to independent. Not saying he's a bad guy, I'm not saying he's doing a bad job, but when somebody changes parties like that, that don't look good to me. That's just my opinion, but that's the mess we got into because Harold Heiser passed away. And before that, it was Jim Cole that passed away. He was county commissioner. Well, look at the mess that started. Pass the torch. It's very important. And it's like the assessor here, Ralph Layton. Someone told me he's in his 80s. He's making anywhere from $42,000 to $50,000 a year. Plus, there's some type of bonuses if you do certain things. He's making out pretty good. Hell, he's making more than the county commissioners. He's 80-some years old, from what I was told. I'm not saying he done a bad job. What I'm saying is, what if he passes away? That's going to stir up another mess in Grant County. We don't need it. We don't need it. Pass the torch. Let some young buck learn that job and get things changed around here. It's that simple. Don't stay in there until you kick the bucket. That's killing Grant County. That's one of the many things killing us. These people stay in there forever. They've done made their money. They've done bought their homes. They're done financially set. They're not hungry anymore. So they're not going to change anything. They're not going to do anything. You get some young buck in there that's trying to make it, they're going to want to change things so they can improve things for themselves and everybody else. These older people, they're happy with the way things are. They don't want anything to change. And they're killing us younger people. They're doing this to us. Just smashing us down. They're basically puckering their buttholes and shitting on us. Pardon my language, but that's just how it is. They are shitting on us. Plain and simple. The Development Authority. Moving on. I don't know all the ins and outs about that. It just the name Development Authority sounds communist to me. But I've always had an issue with it. I've always had an issue with the 911 center's location. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs, but I went to the state auditor's website. It was doing a little research. The Development Authority goes through a lot of money, a boatload of it. It says here they borrowed some money in January 2017. The monthly installments are $17,992. Now they did, wait a second. Okay. It looks like they borrowed $3 million. $3 million. It'll be paid off in 2034. The interest on that's $886,000. So that's pushing $4 million altogether. They spent on something. $3 million plus interest. That's a lot of money. Go on down here. They borrowed from the Grant County Bank. July 2013. It'll be paid off in July of 2023. They borrowed $841,457. Interest is $163,819. A little over $1 million after it's paid off. So you got almost 4 up here and $1 million here, pushing $5 million right there. Go on. Here's another loan with the Grant County Bank. Took out in 2013. It'll be paid off in the year 2033. Borrowed $1,145,656. Interest on that's $546,755. After it's paid off, $1,692,411. I mean, they're cranking up some millions here. A lot of money. That's what, that's about between 6 and 7 million. Now, this one's done paid off, but they borrowed $59,000. Interest $2,500. That's not too bad, but that adds up. Here's one, Summit Community Bank. Borrowed it in 2011. It'll be paid off this December. Borrowed $677,257. Interest $46,380. A total of $723,637. Okay, they're well over 7 million then, if I added that up right in my head. Not the best at math, but you get the picture. Here's another one. Borrowed in 2016, be paid off in the year 2029. Borrowed $500,000. Interest is $111,000. Comes to $611,522. Yeah, I'd say they're over 7 million then. That's a lot of money going through that place, and we don't know a whole lot about it. I went to the website. There's no list of who the members are. There's really no information on what's going on, what they're doing. I know they just got $400,000 to have a fiber optic cable run to their facility. So add that on top of all that, plus whatever else they've been spending. There's a lot of money, you know, and I understand you got to spend money to make money. I understand that. But when you got millions of dollars, you expect to see something. What do we see out of all them millions of dollars? All we hear is excuses. Everything's quiet. They don't have no public meetings that I know of. They don't invite the public in to talk to them. I do have an issue with the 911 center and the Development Authority. Supposedly, the county is paying $64,130 per year to rent the building from the Development Authority for the 911 center. Now, I don't know how long it's been there. I'm going to guess and say 10 years. I think it's 11 years it's been there. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but I'm going to use 10 years as an example. You times 10 by $64,130. You're talking about $640,000 just in 10 years. Now, wouldn't it have been cheaper to buy a piece of property and build a building for the 911 center? I mean, we bought one. I guess we was tricked into doing that. They had to have a good excuse for us to buy it. So they said, well, we'll put the 911 center in there. Then after they got the building, changed their mind where they wanted it. Said it wasn't sufficient for them or not, or something. I don't know. But anyhow, if it wasn't sufficient enough, they should have bought a piece of property, paid for it, put up a building, generator, and all that stuff they needed. It saved the taxpayers some money. This is money that was thrown away. Rent. When you rent something, that money's gone. They could get evicted or something. Nothing to show for that money at all. And my guess is the reason that that was put up there in that building and paying that rent is to pay the development authorities payments. We was conned into that, basically. In my opinion, the whole thing's a Ponzi scheme. So if I get elected, there will be an investigation. Everything will be made public. And I know it sounds like we're beating a dead horse, but a lot of people I've talked to keep bringing it up. That's something that's bothered people for years, and there's no transparency on it. We need transparency. We have the right to know. The development authority belongs to us, we the people. We have the right to know what's going on. We have the right to know why such and such is done. Because actually, we're responsible for that debt, by the way, because that's our baby. I also want to know about this $98,000 for this new furniture for the 911 center. I'm reading, if you want to know where I'm getting some of this information from, I kept Jerry Ayers' campaign ad. Now supposedly that furniture was donated. Because after this come out, it come out later on in the Grant County Press that furniture was donated. I don't know who's telling the truth here. But the thing that worries me, what if both of them is telling the truth? And this $98,000 went in someone's pocket or somewhere where it shouldn't have went. That's what concerns me. So that needs to be investigated, whether or not that was spent on the furniture or not at all. I'm not calling anybody a liar. I'm not saying anybody's telling the truth here. But it needs to be looked into. It just seems to me there's a lot of money floating around in Grant County. And there's no accountability. And I think we need to know about it. I will say I think Jerry Ayers got screwed over when he run. But that's how that goes. On the 911 center, it's 2,581 square feet. That's a lot of money for that little bit of space. I think we got tricked into paying someone else's bills, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And poor old Peter got the shaft, and the taxpayers are Peter. So we got screwed on that deal. But that's all I have for today's show. I hope everybody comes out and votes. I know I upset a lot of people by telling my opinion, but that's life. Get over it. Go to the dollar store and get you some tissues. I don't care. I don't hold nothing back. I'm a man of few words, but when I do talk, you don't know what's going to come out. So I'd appreciate it if you vote for me. If not, vote for the other guy. That's fine. Try to look at the bright side of things. When you go vote this November, you have a reason to vote now. It used to be, when you voted in the general election, one guy on there, one Republican. You just well stayed home and watch TV. Now you have a reason to go vote. You can say, oh, I hate that Shreve guy. He's got a big mouth. He's sarcastic and belligerent. I'm voting against him. I don't want him in there. I gave you a reason to go vote. Try to look at the bright side of things. That's how I look at it. And my number one goal, it's not to win. It never was to win. My number one goal is to wake the people of Grant County up. Wake up. Take a look at what's going on. Your future is at stake. Your liberty is at stake. Take a stand. Take a stand against tyranny. You don't have to vote for me to do that either. You can do it on your own. Get together with your neighbors or whatever. Put pressure on our elected officials. I think a little bit of pressure has been put on them because I've noticed some changes, especially in the Development Authority. Their attitude's changing a little bit. They're starting to get a few things done. They've sat around with their finger up their ass for years. They're finally starting to come around a little bit. The Grant County Commissioners, I have a feeling they're going to give in eventually too. We just got to keep pressure on them. Keep it on, keep aggravating them. So until next time, stay safe and be careful out there, will ya?